Hi, I'm Al. Welcome to CiNEMACHiNE. I'm here with Brandon
Hello there.
and Ryan.
Howdy.
And tonight we're going to do a full season 7-episode review with spoilers, everybody, of Mare of Easttown, the HBO Max original show.
Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet. Mayor Sheehan, an office police investigator, that's what it says, in a small Pennsylvania town, investigates a brutal murder as she tries to keep her life from falling apart. Now, this has, like we said, 7 episodes, started April 18th. You guys have been going week by week, and this has old Kate Winslet in it and quite a few others. Evan Peters, Guy Pearce, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Angourie Rice, Julianne Nicholson, and Jean Smart, amongst others. So we'll just treat this kind of like a movie and go from start to finish, because that's what it is, just really a long movie. So what interests you to begin with about Mare of Easttown? What brought you in the
we giving our general thoughts? No,
hang on.
Yes,
no, because Brandon he'll give the whole review. So so Ryan, I believe you started watching this first, right? And then
no, Brandon did.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Brandon, what got you in the door to watch this?
Permission to speak freely, sir?
Just not lengthy. Yes.
I mean,
Denied.
I'm a sucker
Al,
for.
you go ahead.
I am a sucker for murder mystery, small town type shows, or just documentaries, and then shows kind of in that same vein as well. But I haven't seen Kate Winslet in anything in a while, and I've always liked her. And saw this was coming out, and trailers look good, and I have the HBO Max, so why not?
I mean,
so I started checking out. And we started.
he ain't leaving his house,
it.
people. He just ain't going. So okay, what was your initial review?
I enjoy watching this whole going back to weekly viewing is fun to me, and this was a good one that was like it was prime for that kind of it wasn't like I don't know how Al, you binged it, so I don't know how you felt about that experience, but I like this is a good water cooler conversation weekly kind of type experience, and I think that's what I've enjoyed the most about it.
Yeah. Ryan?
I would agree. Definitely a great weekly format show.
How many episodes were there already before you came in and started watching? Maybe like 3 or 4?
Yeah, I want to say 3 was the number. And I wanted to watch it. We just didn't
get around to it. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So have either of you guys seen Broadchurch?
No.
Brandon, you and Melissa would probably really like it. This show reminded me a lot of Broadchurch. Broadchurch is a very similar story, but it's based in either Ireland or Wales. I can't remember.
Brandon won't like it. Brandon won't like it.
From what it's got, who's the guy? I don't know why I'm blanking right now. The guy who plays
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, Jessica Jones, the villain in season 1 of Jessica Jones. He's famous.
Oh,
David Tennant. Yeah, he's in it.
Wasn't he Doctor Who at one point?
It was, yeah. But yeah, this was a cool show. I like it's a very lived in show, which is nice to see. And yeah, Katie and I, this is one of those things where it's fun because every week, like something that we could look forward to sit down and watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you watched it. You watched it weekly. Now, did Katie enjoy it?
But yeah, she loved it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, did Melissa enjoy it, Brandon?
Yep.
Okay.
She did.
Awesome.
That's the thing about these kind of shows. It's like it's good to have. HBO's been I guess, are famous for having that Sunday night primetime TV appointment type show. And even though this one was like a 10 o'clock show, so we ended up always having to watch it on like Tuesdays because of podcasts and things. And life, you know how it goes. But
I don't know how life goes. I don't have one.
If it was a 9 p.m. show,
do.
they gave the 9 p.m. slot of the Joss Whedon show. Gosh.
Ugh.
But yeah.
There's a Joss Whedon show?
The Nevers.
Yeah. They're not advertising it as such anymore, but it is his show.
What is the Nevers?
He's canceled. It's like a period piece show. I think there might be a superpower element to it. I'm not sure. Haven't watched it.
He's pretty one note.
Got a lot of girls in it. Like he likes the girls.
Well, if he did get canceled in that regard, I'm pretty sure the Snyder fans were going to cancel him eventually anyway. So
moving on. Al, what'd you think of it?
Funny.
I thought the show was okay. It was all right. Wasn't really anything that stood out to me as like super special about it, but it was all right. It was well acted. It was well made. I usually don't like.
We got a text from Al 3 episodes in. So when does this kick in?
Brandon was just like, just stop watching.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just finished watching Twin Peaks, the first 2 seasons, the original 2 seasons, and ultimately this is similar. That's a show it's a very quirky show, a very weird show about a girl that was murdered, and the whole town is a suspect basically, and it's not. I mean, it's kind of melancholy, but it's got funny. It's very quirky, like I said. And for me personally, I prefer that over this, but this is not a bad show. I'm not saying that at all. I don't know, had I not made the commitment to be able to do this review, watch all 7, I don't know that I would have stuck with it, to be honest with you. I'm not going to say like I figured it out or whatever. I had an idea. I think everybody has an idea of who they think it is or whatever. And I whittled it down to 3 people, which we won't get into spoilers of that regard just yet. But it was fun to, I was wrong about that one. Oh, maybe I'm right about that one and stuff like that. And I really do like Kate Winslet. I've always thought that she was a good actress. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is one of my favorite performances by her. But I've seen her. What was that? Oh, shoot. She was in an
Titanic,
Revolutionary Road or something like that. Yeah, she was in that. But Revolutionary Road. And she's in a bunch of movies that I do like. She is in that. That's one of my grandmother's favorite movies. She watches that about 20 times a year. So yeah, I just think she's pleasant. She seems
not in this show.
She's not at all in this show. You're correct. But
which is what's so great. Like it did this her portrayal in this movie. Like a lot of times you'll see like actors take roles where they kind of try and like ugly them up a little bit.
Yeah.
She just felt like a lived in, like it didn't feel like this is an actress that we obviously know is beautiful. Like she just felt like a normal person. Right. Yeah, she didn't feel like it. Like
she's still a beautiful woman, but it wasn't distracting. Like
when she gets
Jolie and
to go out to the on dates and stuff. She's still attractive. But not like movie star. Like they didn't make her look like an average Jolie in the last movie we reviewed.
Yeah, she looked like a usual, like an ordinary woman that had a hard job. You know what I mean? Like you said, lived in and everything, but she looked like you forgot it was Kate Winslet, not because she was so mangled or anything like Charlize Theron in Monster, but she's such a good actress, number one. And number two, I mean, she melts into the character, and it's a good character.
She has an energy that she maintains throughout the show that
it's
really,
consistent.
It's
consistent. Now
she's definitely like one of the, I mean, I know a lot of these people, but she's definitely got like, we lost him.
Well, Ryan told us his piece, so now Brandon, we can do spoilers. Go ahead.
She definitely has like a chip on her shoulder, kind of like
does she ever?
She's like obviously got a lot of baggage.
Yeah,
with good reason, but and I just that's one of the things that like even like you throw all the like mystery stuff away, like the murder stuff, that was all good, but I just loved the piece of life type, just her dealing with the things that she has to deal with and all the relationships surrounding her.
Yeah.
And how complicated things were for her.
Everything's crumbling around her. Yeah.
Yeah. I just enjoyed that. I mean, I feel like my overall like grade of this show would fall kind of in the 6 or 7 point out of 10 range, only because just on the story alone, I felt like towards the end, like the last couple episodes, like it hit a high mark for me in the middle, little, like maybe just over the middle, and then it kind of like got a little like too caught up in this like subverting expectations, like you think it's this and it's going to be this.
Yeah, it was too much of the sleight of hand.
They revealed the other this, and they're like, yeah, but it's a little different than that, like a little bit more, like yeah. And I get it, but I just, that part kind of, because there's a difference to me with, it felt like felt like they painted certain characters in different ways to fool the audience.
Mm-hmm.
But if those characters were really the people that they ended up being, they wouldn't have been portrayed this way in real life. Like, they throw some, like, for instance, the boyfriend that, he's
Dylan. Yeah.
He does so many things that are for the audience, try to make you be like, oh, this guy's, he did something, like he's up to something, or he killed her, and like stuff that just doesn't make sense for his character. If he hadn't done, like, why are you like being so shady about like disappearing one night and telling your girlfriend that she should probably leave, like threatening her because she's like snooping around or something.
Some of those things felt a little too convenient for me.
Yeah.
Like
they just, a little contrived.
But like, okay, for instance, so, okay, everybody, we've told you spoilers. When she walks in and finds the junkie guy dead in the house, and she sees the shirt McMenamin jersey, it's perfectly spread out, and you can see, like, you can perfectly see that name in there, and it grabs her attention. And it couldn't have been more somebody like, okay, we're going to set this up to, that kind of aggravated me. Not aggravated, I think that's too strong of a word, but that kind of was just kind of like, I was kind of tired of those types of things at that point. It just felt like, okay, we need to get to the next step. And it felt like they were just writing the script to get there. So those kind of things were kind of unfortunate for me. Not to say this show has any sins that most shows don't have, but I do feel like if this were a 4-episode season instead of a 7-episode, I think it would have been able to play a little better, and maybe even make each episode like an hour 15, maybe. But Guy Pearce, having a love life with her and all that stuff, I just didn't care about that at all.
That's the thing that I was telling Melissa, like, they waste, like, Guy Pearce's involvement was like, I was like, you hired Guy Pearce for something.
I was like,
And
is he going to be the murderer?
Yeah. Well, I was like, surely they're not going that because there's no evidence.
Yeah. I was
Guy
like,
Pearce has
that
anything.
would be the worst. So,
But like, or he was going to be the guy that was kidnapping all the girls or something.
yeah, I was like, he came in town around the same time. So that was one of the three that I was like, I hope it's not that, but it seems like they're kind of going that route because I too was like, why are they wasting Guy Pearce? Man, he looked old in this. He looked so old in this.
He did look old in this, but
his hair was
I guess, I don't know. I see it two ways. Like I see it like maybe they just hired somebody like Guy Pearce just to create, just because they wanted a good actor around these other good actors.
Yeah, he was a foil, maybe.
Make a more believable, world. Kind of like I always go to like when Nolan cast Bale, which was a relatively unknown for Batman, and he cast all these like great actors surrounding Bale to like kind of breathe life into this world. Mm-hmm. So maybe that was kind of the approach there.
Yeah, maybe
with Pierce, because he's kind of like, he's not essential to this story.
No, and they could have cut that whole storyline out and I'd have been okay with it. They could have cut that out. They could have cut the majority of the daughter out for me. I didn't care about her band.
Yeah.
I didn't care about
her stories. Doesn't really do
it was
much.
just meandering.
I guess before, except for like the stuff with the brother and her finding the brother.
That makes sense. That makes it like you should have. It should have
been
a
documentary on the brother.
Yeah, but that got on my nerves because it was like, hey, she got into Berkeley because of that stupid movie she was made. It was like a something you show your family, not something you get into college for.
How did you get turned down by Berkeley?
Oh man. I'm so upset.
You went to SCAD. I'm a SCAD grad.
Yeah. Went to Columbia and SCAD. No, it was just like, you don't get into college, especially you don't get into a Berkeley because you talk to one professor and they saw some random home movie ultimately that you made. And she's like doing the dumbest voiceover. It's like, I was like, okay, this is a personal project for you. This means nothing to anybody else. You know,
like I don't count out networking. I don't know about the video, but like the networking side of things.
You're not going to get into Berkeley.
College is a business.
You're not going to get into college, especially at Berkeley, because of one professor. You're just not. I mean, there's so many people that go try to get into Berkeley, and
I'm not saying it's like. What I'm saying is like I didn't need like more.
I just thought it was a pointless story. Like I understand you got to take her away at the end because everything's changing and Mare's got to grow and be independent without her leaning on her daughter, and her daughter's got to be independent without leaning on her mom. They've both got to get over the brother dying. I get that. And that was okay, but it just, I don't know. They just could have gotten there differently is what I'm saying. And again, it doesn't make the show bad. It's just that there was, Brandon and I, when you dropped off, Ryan, we're kind of talking about some of the things that were meandering in this show.
I was just saying that there could have been some things that you could have trimmed the fat a little bit. That things that in the end didn't go anywhere or need to be there.
And we were also talking about how it just kind of felt like they were putting these characters and they're putting them in to be like, hey, watch over here so you don't see what's going on over here, and you knew it was too early on for them to really find the real murderer.
Yeah. We were just saying that there were a few like contrived character beats that were just for the audience to either put us on their scent or get us off their scent or things like that.
Was there a character that you just didn't care for in this?
Me?
Either one, yeah. Ryan, you speak first.
Oof.
Before you drop off again.
Yeah, seriously. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick characters, unfortunately, like we talked about, it's going to be the daughter probably. I just, not that she was bad. I just don't think that the character was written that well into the show.
She was kind of written like a 90s, like a 90210 character. That where she just, I don't know, she was every teenage stereotype wrapped up in one. It was just like, it was like an old person writing for a teenager is what it felt like.
I just felt like she was going to be worked into the show more than she was.
Right.
Like her development was really just for Kate Winslet's development, and they spent too much time exploring her.
Yeah, and I honestly thought they could get a lot of the same development and arc by the friendship that she had. Lori, is that her name? With her best friend. I really thought that was a good, she's using her tragedy to help people now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Because
now she is on the healing end of it, and she's able to help people get through their own path and everything. And I thought that was all right. But the Brandon, did you have a character that you just didn't care for or anything?
I mean, I didn't really hate any characters, or like, I wasn't like, oh, this, maybe the crackhead brother, because he was just a bad actor.
Yeah. I didn't like the boyfriend, Dylan. I didn't like him at all. Like, I know you weren't supposed to like him, but it was just like he was over the top angry. And I'll tell you what, man, they wanted you to think he was going to smother that baby in the crib. They're in a hospital. They're not going to let you bring a crib and put a baby in a room with somebody. Okay, first off, a couple things. He got shot, and they were like, he might not ever walk again. And all of a sudden, he's up picking up a baby. And it's like,
yeah,
it doesn't happen.
Was a little...
And then all of a sudden, he's like, we're going to go out and get into some mischief, have some old tomfoolery out here amongst the youngsters.
I will say that. Okay, so his girlfriend annoyed me a lot.
Yeah.
The redheaded girl, or the Brianna, or whatever her name is. Yeah. She was just like I don't know. I just, when it comes to like bullying and things like that, people picking on other people, or just being like, fighting other people. Like, sometimes I'm just like, I just don't see people doing this to other people. Like, how innately evil some people can, some people can be in these movies.
All right, let's turn the camera off. We need a therapy session with Al real quick.
Yeah.
He wouldn't stop kicking me.
Tough to be a ginger.
Got that right. When there's a thing called Kick a Ginger Day, and it's still a national holiday with all this canceling going on, that's kind of a bad thing. So,
yeah, nobody cares, Al.
Yeah, I know. My mom doesn't even care. My mom comes out to Atlanta just to kick me. So,
all right, see ya.
Oh,
see you at Christmas.
See you next year.
Anyway, you were saying bullying?
No. I was just saying, like, this, I guess it's the first episode when they kind of like corner her, like down by the like river or whatever, and they just beat the crap out of her for no reason.
That didn't bother me as much. Just, I don't know. Like, I mean, that stuff, it's just kind of a rundown town. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
that helped it kind of with the lived in.
I did like the now Erin was the main one that was murdered, right? That was her name, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I liked her friend, the friend that kept changing her story and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was fairly decent actress. I haven't seen her in anything else. I don't Madeline Weinstein, maybe. So she was pretty good. The one story that was just aggravating me, and I know it was necessary. It was necessary, but it wasn't necessary. Was the lady with cancer that wanted to get her daughter back? That just kept aggravating me. I was like, shut up.
I like that. I I liked.
Shut up, she's gone.
I mean, it was like I get your motivation. I mean, okay, I'm coming from an angle to where a lot of the stuff in this movie
You
happened
took
in
the
my
side of the kidnapper. Is that what you're trying to
no,
say?
a lot of the stuff in this movie happened in my life. Like my best friend was murdered in high school. So I can understand the plight of those kids. You know, I was 14 and my best friend was murdered by a crackhead. Okay. So I understood that part of it. You know, it just, but, and I've known people with cancer and everything. I just felt like that lady was so broken and they wanted us to believe that she was going to steal the money and all of that. And who on this show right now didn't know it was the crackhead calling her and saying it was 5,000. He needed $5,000. I knew that from the first phone call.
You should have told her, but I feel like she.
Who only asked for $5,000? A crackhead.
She wants her daughter back. That's. I mean, she's going to do whatever she can. And she even like. You can tell in the back of her mind that she's probably thinking that this is bogus. I think she even like uses her friend as a sounding board or something for it. But
yeah, Lori.
She just wants her daughter back. So I mean, I can see that. What I want, I like that storyline, and I was really wanting to see, because that lady that played her was a good actress. I thought I really wanted to see her reunite with Katie, and they kind of skip over that, and you see them coming home. But I'm a sucker for like I think I've probably said this on the show before, but with subject matter like this, like I kind of I like when a movie can get me to cry, if that makes any sense. Like I want to feel feelings, okay, when I watch something like this. So I was wanting to see that reunite.
I don't think I've ever cried at a movie personally. And I'm not saying I'm tough or anything. I'm just saying I don't know that feeling is what I'm saying.
Well, we know you. We know you're not.
I have no soul.
Don't even work out, bro.
So I don't know the joke.
It's just, I don't know, some long awkward silence. It just made it hilarious.
But no, I maybe that's why I don't like things like I don't get into things like this as much, because I don't like I said, I've lived through a lot of these storylines in this show.
Al, your favorite movie one year was Christine.
Yeah, I love that movie.
That's a pretty dark, sad movie. It's about somebody killing themselves on air.
Yeah, and I didn't get emotional about it.
No, but you said that's why you don't gravitate towards these types of movies.
No, I'm saying that I don't get in. I said I don't get into them as much, meaning I don't let myself go into them. Like, I don't lose myself in these types of things is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I see them from a different angle, and I think the emotion that comes out of me more is anger for these types of things, because I don't like to see kids hurt, period. And and I don't know. I want to. I don't want revenge or anything like that. It's nothing like that. But I don't have respect for people that hurt children. I don't think anybody on the show does. But I'm just saying that I think that different emotions come out of different people is my point in saying all that. So I don't, and I'm not saying that you're less than or I'm greater than or whatever. I'm just saying that I don't know that I don't know how to. I usually don't go towards that emotion of sadness and for these types of things. I feel for the people. I feel sympathy and I feel empathetic, but I don't feel sad to where I want to cry is what I'm saying. That's all. I feel more anger towards people that hurt little girls, and so I want to see them get their comeuppance. That's about it. So I think that's where my emotions go. But this show didn't really cause me to emote too much, and maybe that is because I, binged it in 2 days. So maybe I didn't give myself the time to think about it and things like that. Maybe I'm guilty of that.
I mean, it's a lot of show. The shows are, a lot of them are over an hour episode.
Yeah, they're all like 59 minutes, and then the last one's like an hour and 6, I think.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if we said this when Ryan disappeared, but I think I did. This show, like, I remember when I first started talking about it on our live shows, I was like pretty casual on it, and then it ended up kind of sinking its hooks into me each week. It kind of peaked for me with what's the other officer's Zabel.
Evan Peters. Yeah, Zabel.
Yeah, Detective Zabel. After he, like, that was the peak. Like, after that episode,
I agree.
It was.
I'll say this: that caught me off guard. I didn't expect him to die like that.
You guys get Silence of the Lambs vibes.
Oh yeah, hardcore.
In that house,
I love the pipe thing was awesome.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. And I'll say this: I usually don't like Evan Peters too much.
Ralph Boner?
Who?
Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
I usually don't like him too much. I haven't seen him in a great deal of things. But I thought he was serviceable in this. I thought he was
great in this one.
I thought he was convincing as a kind of wet behind the ears detective. I did not believe the whole want to take her out on a date thing. That came out of left field, if you ask me. It just kind of felt like a writer was like, well, we got to get her on the case again without her, and it just, I don't know. I just didn't believe that. Other than that,
Melissa had a similar hang up with that, but I don't know. I just felt like it's pretty commonplace for people in working relationships when you're spending all this time together.
I'm not saying that. It just came out of left field.
2 single characters.
It was I think I would have thought it was weird if they didn't have that bar scene in there, where you kind of get
drunk.
Yeah, he's just like, he kind of lets it all out, like where he's kind of in a delicate emotional state as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So what did you think about when what's his name, Brian Denman from The Office, Frank in this show, when it was just like, well, he's accused now, I got to go over there and just break up his party and in front of all the kids and everything and talk to him. I mean, how did you guys feel about that particular storyline?
I like the scene. I think the thing about the show is, I don't know, I very much, and it sounds like maybe you guys kind of view it as more of like in a holistic sense, but everything about this show to me comes back to just Mare, and everything else is just kind of secondary to her, what she's going through.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I think that may have been something that we also said when you were gone, which is like,
Gotcha.
She is like the selling point for this show.
Of course, man.
And that where it loses steam is trying to subvert expectations with all these like whodunit stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like I could just watch, for me, it was just more interesting about her life and all her struggles and the relationships and that kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
And learning more about her past and her son and that kind of stuff.
That's kind of why I wish that the cancer lady and the Katie character were not a thing, because that felt like two things. That felt like too much of a story, number one, to me. I would like for them to have just focused on the Aaron murder and let her life be the forefront and let that be the background. And then not use that other story, because you could see it out of, like, I never felt like they were tied together.
See,
I just never
liked it because it gave her like an adversary on the like work side of things. Like she didn't feel like she even could do her job well.
Right.
And it's a small town and she can't escape it. And I don't know. I like that element of it. And like the basketball scene where they're all the team or whatever is getting the awards.
Oh, in the first episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
that really,
like for people who have a troubled home life, like a lot of times you go to work to escape your troubles. And what I liked about this show is that like she couldn't really go anywhere to escape anything. Everywhere she went.
Well, it's very much with living in a small town where everybody knows everybody and everybody knows your business.
You're right.
Like that kind of rang true with just, I mean, especially with her in a position that she's in, obviously, like everybody calls her by her first name.
Mm.
You know, she had the lady that, you know, would call, you know, at the beginning of the first episode, calls her cell phone to come about the ferret or whatever she says.
Oh, the lady that dies in the car accident, the little lady.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like those kind of things just rang true to me as far as like selling this whole, like, you know, lived in small town life type where everybody knows everybody.
Right.
And everybody calls you friend.
I mean, it was a small town. It felt a little. Now, before we got into incest on the show, I was thinking, and this show is very incestuous as far as like just everybody is in everybody's business. Now, I'm from a relatively small town, so I get that. But
speaking of incest, where are you from?
yeah, speak up, Royston. I'm from Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. That's right, boy. Look, my cousin mom is great. Okay. So no, I just felt like, at one point after they did the Frank thing, I was like, okay, everybody's going to be a suspect now, every man in this town. And then after they did the whole priest thing, that was a little forced to me. It was like, okay, we get it. They have this history. We got to throw that in there. We get it. And that felt a little contrived. And I never like grasped to any of those people being the person, because I was like, oh, the show's going to be over. That's exactly what I said every time. Like they would come up with a new person. And I felt like it was going to be one of those, we're going to pull the rug out from underneath you. Because they were trying to, after the father of Aaron went out and shot Dylan and he was alive, then they still got him into mischief. And he kept saying, he said to the friend, Becca, was that her name? Said, all three of us are in this together. And he said that, I think, once or twice. And it was like, okay, are they trying to make me believe that this Becca girl had part of it, like, planned as well? And why was she hanging out with them and things? You know, it just never made sense to me. And
that's kind of,
and he was a little too he was just a little too forceful. That's why I didn't like his character. His character was, to me, it was poorly written and poorly acted. And I understand hot-headed teenage kids. I get it. But we've all been there. I get it. But make stupid decisions. But I mean, just everything he did was stupid. The way he talked to his parents, and his parents were like some of the most like nice, accommodating people. And
he was definitely not likable.
He was not likable at all. And it was like, okay, I get it. But why?
But guys, listen.
Oh,
He gave her the money at the end.
Gave it back.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And
right.
he gave her Aaron's money
to
pay for the ear surgery because he's a good guy.
So So who else thinks that kid's gonna grow up and be a nutcase? Because he's like, every single man in my family's in jail. I've had 17 fathers, and like that kid's gonna be a nutcase when he grows up. I'm being raised by my dad's ex-wife, and
I agree with you on his character, and there were some weak spots. It's one of those things again where, like, at the same time, like, sure, it could have been executed better, but I do like having those types of characters in this show because it just makes everything feel so much more weathered.
I get it. You have to have them, but I don't think they should have put as much emphasis and tried to make us believe like he still did it after he recovered.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying earlier about some of the more contrived and things that were put in to lead the audience one way or the other, or like get them on a scent, get them off scent. Like a lot of that stuff some of it was more or less organic than others. And at the end of the day, I think that's what hurt it the most for me in terms of my overall experience with it. But still, at the end of the day, I just feel like the mayor stuff at its core, just the core element of the show was super strong.
Yeah. So let's fast forward a little bit. We're now into the Ross family. The Ross family, every single person in their family is in jail after the show's over. It felt
what's the characters, the woman that's left by herself, the wife,
Lori,
her best friend, Lori.
Yeah. Lori.
Man.
Yeah.
She looked so defeated. Like she was just so run down.
I watched her in another show where she was awesome in it.
Yeah, she's a good actress.
Yeah.
She's a good actress.
Really, yeah, she is really good.
And she and that little boy, the little boy that again, spoilers. The little boy that ended up ultimately doing it, her son. She actually looked like she could have been his mom. Like I was like, okay, I believe that completely because they had the little freckle pattern across, and she had.
That's funny you say that because I actually, when he was talking at one point, I could see the dad in him as well, which I know is, it's obviously not, but there were some things I was like, oh yeah, he kind of looks like the dad a little bit.
I'm gonna say this, and you made the joke a minute ago, but I am gonna say this. I'm glad
she was in.
That's what she was. I, Tanya.
Yeah, I looked her up to see what she was in.
I'm glad they
as well.
I'm glad they made this in a northeastern town because usually these types of stories they just like okay, put it in the South. It's like put it down there in the South because
Brandon also The Outsider.
What about it?
She was in that. She was Glory Maitland. I think that was Jason Bateman's wife, correct?
Could have been. I kind of erased that show from my memory.
Yeah, I think so.
So let's talk about the Ross family. The Ross family, Lori and her husband, John. John is having an affair. That's what everybody seems to think because her son is
multiple affairs.
Yeah, with the same woman, is what is believed at this time. And the son has an outburst, which nobody ever got to the bottom of because their daughter, special needs daughter, is being that I didn't believe. That bullying where they just throw food across the freaking.
Yeah,
I didn't believe that at all.
That's kind of what I was getting at. Like some of this stuff's like the kids really do. Like I don't know.
I don't think they go to that extreme. I think they do do the gang up thing. Like if
I've seen some mean, like even in high school, some mean stuff. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I've seen some pretty mean things, but
I've seen it on movies.
To be fair, Brandon's high school there were like 10 people, so there wasn't much bullying.
I don't know.
I was a loner in high school, so I would have been the kid that got picked on, and I did get picked on when I was younger, but we'll talk about it later.
On a very special CiNEMACHiNE.
All right, turn the camera off. Brandon therapy time.
Melissa, bring some more of those grapes.
Yeah.
So no, I I didn't believe that bullying. That was just too much. And it was his sister, so he didn't need any other reason to go ape on that kid. Nobody needed a reason to go ape. Throwing sweet potatoes or carrots or whatever it was at her face. But nobody ever addresses that after that happens. They think it's just the affair and like, oh yeah, that's it. And the little boy is trying to keep a secret. Why didn't you go, they picked on my sister? Why didn't you just say that? It was like, come on with it.
Come on.
It was just like so frustrating. I was like, just like, okay, I don't know your secret. I honestly thought the dad was ultimately trying to hide a secret for the son. I didn't think it was the affair because the boy was too distraught about it. That's what I thought. I was like, hang on. I didn't think it was a murder. I didn't think that. I just thought there was like something else going on that they were going to try. I thought it was going to be one of those things where they just come out of the clear blue and say, this is the thing. So the Ross family, John is now at his dad's house. Where is Billy living there too?
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
It's so funny because Billy's giving him crap. You need to get your life together.
Yeah.
I was like, you're living with your dad too, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is that character, Billy, he says, I don't have anybody or whatever when they're down at the creek fishing or river or whatever it is, fishing. And he's got a wedding ring on. So I don't know if they just forgot to take that off as the actor forgot to take that off in the scene or whatever. But he's got a wedding ring on. And I'm like, so did his wife kick him out too? Or like, so I'm trying to pick up the story. So anyway, and then that seemed like it was contrived because the dad all of a sudden's like, I saw Billy with blood all over him. Just out of nowhere. The dad wasn't upset about that at first. Like it just, everybody's conscience just got to them at the right time in this show. And that bothered me. It was just, it feels like if it was such a small town, everybody knows Mayor. I know you're trying to protect your family member or whatever, but a little girl in your family was murdered. Why wouldn't you go and tell that, at least address it? You know what I mean? So that's what kind of pulled me out of it a little bit. I'm not going to say a lot, just a little bit. What were you going to say, Ryan?
I don't know. I just felt like it was like he was starting to feel heat. And I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It just felt like that's a knuckleheaded family, man. They got a bunch of...
No denying that.
Jeez. Like all three of his sons are in jail at this point. And his grandson. And yeah, so anyway, that was kind of weird. And then they go on the
not a contest, guys.
Yeah, like who can out screw up your life more than the others. So now they're going on a fishing trip. The show has you believing that Billy has confessed to the murder. John has told Lori at this point, and they're going on a fishing trip because John is going to eliminate Billy because he's an embarrassment to the family because the baby is now believed to be Billy's.
This is the one scene that I talked about how it feels like lived in. It's like watching baseball movies, watching the guy fish. I was like, this guy hadn't held a fishing pole since he was 5 years old.
What's weird about this scene also is if you go back and watch it, it's so the close-up shots are obviously green screen shots of them for whatever reason. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. They must have done some kind of pickups that
the drought. The creek was dry.
Maybe.
Yeah, COVID hit and they had to go and do everything inside. I don't know. Doesn't make sense, but I don't know. Yeah,
I wonder if people, because even like with the gun in the tackle box,
yeah,
even that felt like
they had like no tackle in that tackle box either.
It was like a kid's tackle box.
Bring that thing?
A kid's tackle box. It was like this small. It was like, what is happening here?
Hey, I'm all about a light tackle box. I have a small one as well, but there's more tackle in there than like 4 spinners.
I mean, I'm not gonna act like I know all the fishing stuff, but I mean, I've let my dad down in life. He wants me to go fishing. I don't know anything about fishing. So yeah, I don't know. I thought he was gonna take the bullets out of the gun and let him click, 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 and see if he was really gonna kill him or something like that. And but yeah, Mare put everything together right at the right time for to save everybody at the right moment. You know what I mean? She
Except for Evan Pete.
Yep.
Well, she
didn't save him.
Don't save Zobel.
Well, I think they put it together. I just think he was bad at getting his gun out. Like I would have had my gun out when that guy went into the next room. Yeah, so
Al armchair quarterbacking over there.
I'm just saying you've seen enough movies.
Situation.
You've seen enough movies. Come on. You've seen Silence of the Lambs. We talked about that. You know, as a reference point for that. That had that same vibe. I would have definitely had my gun out. I've been like, this place is creepy. I'm getting my gun out. This guy's giving me the vibes, man. I don't like them. Especially when those pipes, man. Shoo. Those pipes. That was the best part of the show.
Was the best part of the show, yeah.
Yeah, it was the best part of the show.
And the pipes shaking. It just started going nuts.
Yeah, and that gave me that Room movie vibes, the Brie Larson Room.
Yeah.
They gave me those vibes a little bit. Now, hang on. When Katie went home, that's her name, right? Katie? Mm-hmm. Kelly? Katie? Whatever. Yeah. She had a daughter too. So does every teenage girl in this town just have kids?
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's just like everybody has kids young. Like, it's just run down.
So, yeah, I don't know. All right, so let's fast forward.
Yeah, I mean they lay all that. She, you know, the mom's like getting babysitters for the kid. Often she's working,
and even I mean, what's her name is a great grandmother, right? The Mare's mom.
Oh, Jean Smart. Okay,
yeah.
I want to talk about Jean Smart for a minute. There were some moments in the show, and they tried to use Jean Smart as the jester of sorts, to where they would put in the plucky music, bunk, 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 like the old comedy
outro song.
Yeah, no, not even.
Let's roll it.
Yeah. All right, we're done. Bye. So, but no, she would do they would have the plucky music, and it was like, you're supposed to laugh now.
I didn't pick up on
I will say though, I did love when the guy revealed that they were having an affair.
That was awesome. She laughs in the car.
Yeah,
that's so good.
I mean,
just because she has not smiled the whole show.
I think they could have lightened it up every once in a while. They could have lightened it up, like maybe every other episode or something had some. And they were trying, so like it was like, oh, now Jean Smart's gonna have her little snack.
Well, I think like that scene, like that's the reason that scene was so funny to me, is because like there was none of that up to that point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like a cheap laugh every episode would have been.
Yeah.
I would have much rather this than that.
Yeah, they put that plucky music in there, like an old romantic comedy type plucky music. It was like a old Nora Ephron type, like When Harry Met Sally or whatever. It's just that very tropey romantic comedy music. But anyway,
I did appreciate that they came back. They actually came back and addressed the affair thing, though, instead of just leaving it as like she had an affair. Like it actually affected her.
Yeah, I like Jean.
Well, it was also one of those things where it allowed Mare to have a little bit of a win because she's getting, just getting it from all angles, and especially from her mom, just ragging on her all the time, telling her how stupid she is and with her decisions. Just to have a little bit of an edge over her in that moment.
Yeah.
Was good.
Agree.
Yeah. So Jean Smart, I like Jean Smart a lot. She's actually got a new show on HBO called Hacks.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know that I'll be watching it, but I do like her. I liked her on Frasier and Designing Women back in the day. My mom used to make me watch that show.
Yes, you did.
Trust me, I grew up in a household full of girls. So yeah, so we fast forward. Mare gets there right in the nick of time to keep John and Billy John from killing Billy. Ultimately, I don't know. I didn't really feel any stress in that. I didn't really think that either one of them were going to die. Just felt like, okay, they're going to try to end this. And then Mare gets there and takes John in because now he's believed to be the father of of Aaron's baby. And he has confessed. He is now confessing to the murder and being the father, and it happened at the family reunion, so on and so forth. Okay. Show's over, right? Everything's good. Everything's buttoned up. Well, I don't know why, but my TV, I guess I like hit the remote.
That's where it ended for me. So how'd the show end, guys?
I hit the elbow. I hit it with my elbow or something. I don't know what I did. Anyway, I knew that there was 30 minutes left in the show. I was like, yeah, he's not the murderer. So
yeah. Well, I had that same like just listening to his alibi. I was like, oh, this just feels. I don't know if this guy's just like not a good actor, not selling this, but I'm not believing what he's selling. And
yeah, they also did that. They put stuff in there that was was supposed to lead you to believe that it wasn't true, like where he killed her and stuff. Like,
yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't really care for the John Ross character personally. The Billy character wasn't in it enough to like or dislike.
You kind of could tell though something was going on with him in the very first, well, maybe it was the second episode when they go to the brother's house to tell him about Aaron. Mm-hmm. You could tell that Billy, I don't know, going back and rewatching things, if you could pick up if they planted enough stuff to, because that's again, I feel like a lot of the stuff that's planted, the only thing I can think of is Billy does look very like uncomfortable there. And I
there's
can't
a couple
think
shots
of
throughout the show where that happens, where he's not necessarily like background, but semi out of focus. And he just looks uncomfortable when certain people are talking.
Yeah. He kind of reminded me of a younger John Hawkes to me. I do know who he is.
Yeah, I know he is.
Winter's Bone. I mean, he just kind of looked like him a little bit, and I was thinking, not that he was a bad actor, the guy played Billy, but I was just thinking, man, I bet John Hawkes could have really brought that home, maybe a little more convincing. But yeah, and then, so now Mare gets called back over to the old people's house, the one that it had an affair with her mom, and they button that story up like Ryan said, where she's like, she wishes she wouldn't said it in front of everybody or whatever. And he's just kind of saying, earlier on in the show, they talk about what kind of gun it was and everything, and cop, old gun, cop, like ordered or what? Yeah. So anyway,
where's Chris when you need him?
So so they start talking about, my gun was gone and now it's back, and he's just really having a conversation. And to me, this was the most natural conversation in the whole show. This felt like an old man just kind of, some things happened and I'm still out of sorts because my wife died and I don't know how to take care of myself. And he just kind of mentioned it. And so it clicks in her head, like, what kind of gun? And he says it, and
I just kept wondering how the security camera stuff was going to come back in the show, and I'm glad that it did in the end.
Yeah, they foreshadowed there for sure.
I kind of felt the opposite with that interaction, like kind of like when you were complaining about the McNenaman jersey being perfectly out there so that she would see it. Like I felt like this conversation was.
Oh, I felt like it was a little.
Same.
I felt like it was a little convenient. I will say that, but I felt like this.
Sure.
The way it was brought up wasn't as obvious. You know what I mean? So I guess that's where I'm going with that. But no, it felt like, okay, this is pretty convenient.
You know what's funny is you were talking about your TV acting up and showing you that you had 20 minutes left or whatever earlier. So when we started this episode, I clicked on episode 7 and it started playing episode 1, but it had episode 7 up at the top on HBO Max. Like when I paused, I was like, we started it and I was like, this feels like the first episode. But I was like, well, maybe it's a flashback. Maybe they're going to show a different angle to that first. We watched it for a while, like 10 minutes. I was like, this is the first episode. I kept like pressing up on the remote to say, is this episode 7? Because it did. It said episode 7 Sacrament or whatever it was called. But the funny thing is, it got me back on the scent of that couple and the security camera and all that stuff.
Yeah.
To begin this new episode.
Yeah, I didn't have time to forget stuff, because I watched it in all 7 in 2 days. So I didn't have time to forget stuff or to, because you guys watched it week. So it started April 18th, like we said at the beginning of the show. So Brandon's been watching this since mid-April. So it's beginning of June now. So, yeah. So, I mean, the little boy confesses. Now, one thing about the Ross family, man, when they confess, they do it with the most chill. I just want to get it off my chest. I feel good now. Not even upset. They just, it's out there. I'm good. I'm going to go to jail.
Yeah. Gotta admire it about them.
The father and the son both were just like, yeah, just I did all this. I'm upset about it, but what are you going to do? Now the mom, Lori, I think I feel worse for her than I do anybody else at the end of this show.
No doubt.
She.
How can you not?
Yeah, I mean, she literally loses.
Now she's going to raise a kid that's like a constant reminder of all this.
Yeah, an incestuous bastard. So
there's a clip.
So that was my nickname in high school.
Feel out.
This kid is going to be so screwed up when he grows up. I mean, good golly. That's the kind of stuff gets me mad.
So
anyway, yeah. So anyway, so now she's got to raise the kid, which I got the grandson of Mare and that kid's names mixed up. DJ and Donnie.
DJ is the baby.
Okay. Yeah. And the other one was named like Donnie or something. I can't remember. It started with a D too, right?
Ryan.
Dude.
Was it Ryan? Was it Ryan? Okay.
Yeah,
I know.
Ryan.
I knew I didn't like that name. No,
what a dumb name, Ryan.
That's my nephew's name, so I can't. It's like,
oops. Sorry, I'll just change my name real quick.
How fortuitous. So, she's got to raise these kids and I don't think she worked. I think she was just kind of a stay-at-home mom, if I'm not mistaken. That they didn't mention her working. I'll say that. Not that I remember.
I don't know.
So now she's got to go out, get a job, take care of a special needs daughter.
She probably had like an Etsy or something.
Yeah. She was a wedding photographer on the side. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
She looks like drone flyer. So yeah, now she's got to do all that, and she has pushed Mare out of the way. She's like, I don't even want you around me. So she didn't have a friend to lean on. So this ultimately what I'm saying is this movie is the reenactment
TV
of
show.
many, or whatever it is. this TV movie is the reenactment of many country songs. Is what it feels like to me. That like her life is so down. It's just terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And she and Mare now are both without their family because Mare's daughter is going off to Berkeley because she did such a great iMovie, and her mom is there. Her mom's Jean Smart's still there at the end, right? She didn't move on. Okay.
Yeah, she's probably dying soon though.
Yeah. Yeah. Her diabetic sneaking of candy. And then the grandson's still there because the mother of the grandson has gone back to her old ways, and she's a junkie. And
I felt like that character deserves like the actress that played. I thought that she did a great job with that character. I know, like, obviously, being Melissa works in the school system, she deals with a lot of parents that are in these types of situations, and it's tough. I thought that relationship with Mare and her, that whole dynamic
was really good.
Just she really did seem like a girl that was trying to get her life together, but was just that addict personality just continued to, it was so much more believable than the brother crackhead of the other lady.
Yeah, like, the brother crackhead.
But I mean, they didn't give that character a lot of time to do anything either, so that's fine. But this one just felt true to life based on, things that I've seen.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I've known quite a few addicts, junkies in my lifetime, and it is a sad thing to watch, man. It is when you see them, they want to do well so badly, but that monkey's just on their back so much. It's just so sad to watch. So, again, another thing I can relate to from just observing people that I know. But yeah, man, this movie was a bummer.
Yeah. She's also looks like that actress also just looks like
a junkie.
No, well,
you look like you on drugs.
She looks like a girl that would have been a really pretty girl if they hadn't gone down this path. Like I know a lot of people that like they get hooked on drugs and they look like they've aged like 30 years.
Yeah, no, their face, their skin's all bad and everything.
And I have it. I'm sure that the girl that plays this character looks gorgeous without, in real life. I'm sure that she looks fine, but I'm just saying, like the way that I'm trying to. Hey, I overcompensated for Dave Bautista. I'm going to do it for her too. All right.
She looks exactly the same in her like headshots and stuff that I'm looking at. I mean, she has a very hard. She has that very hard face. So
that's how every woman wants to be described. She's got a really hard face.
Yeah,
she really looks.
She looks like a poor man's. What's the girl's name that they're trying to find out if she's hot or not on The Office? Hillary Swank. She looks like a poor man's Hillary Swank.
She's a girl right there.
Is she hot?
Yeah, I maybe that's why I didn't like her. Yeah, I kind of saw that coming. That's sad that happened. But all right, so then everybody in this town of sinners and incest monkeys and all this stuff, they all converge at church.
That's what I told Melissa. I was like, they have one church everybody's Catholic.
This was very sitcom-y. This felt very TGI Friday, like, and the movie Crash kept coming up in my brain too, where everything in that movie, every single person ends up being a part of the story, and kind of, so it just felt like a little.
It's like one of those movies where like everybody's dead at the end, and they're all in this like they have this montage of everybody back together.
Yeah.
Like kind of like on the Titanic when she sees everybody on the, like when she dies, spoilers, she sees everybody from the Titanic as
Boat
she's dying.
sinks. Spoilers.
It's like that.
It's just like that.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking about. I don't know why I said
no, I
Crash.
agree.
Titanic.
It is like you've got even characters like they don't go to church.
Yeah,
But,
I didn't. Okay, another thing is, church ain't that full. All right,
Right.
church ain't that full. And that's one thing. And I don't. This isn't one thing. It just is just a trope that I get so tired of in Hollywood. In order, because Hollywood creates most stereotypes because they have to know, like, you got to wear the hat if you're a detective. You got to do this. If you got to wear a hoodie if you're a hacker, stuff like that. So if you're a preacher, they don't know any different. If you're a preacher, you got to wear the collar. So everybody's Catholic. Like there's no difference and it just drives me up the wall. Like
I mean, part of that is just visual language to get.
I get it, but that's what I'm saying. They don't know how to do it any better. So if you do it with dialogue,
you can't. I don't know how. It's harder, but yeah, I know. There's no use.
So
debating about it, but yeah, it's.
So now you've got
one of those things.
Your priest that has a record, that's been vindicated to a certain degree, and he's telling all the other people that have been vindicated because they were all suspects in this case at one point or another. And something goes off. Oh, we should love. And Mare's just like, you know what? We should love. And we should just love them no matter what, through everything. So she goes over to Lori's, who has told her not to come near her, walks right in her front door. Like, doesn't knock. There's like, now there's a psychopath that was just arrested or was just murdered because he was abducting little girls, and your husband was an incestuous person that you're now raising his child, and your son is a murderer. And you're like,
time Al says incestuous this episode.
and you're not gonna lock your front door? Come on. This town's great. Don't lock your front door.
Small town
of murdering fools. And also the Becca friend, why was she going out? There was still a abducting lunatic on the loose at that point, and she's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go out and hang out. And then she's like 2 feet away from the front door of her building, and she decides to run out away from the boyfriend and everything, and just run out and hide under a car. And he's like, gotcha. And instead of just running right back into her building, I didn't get that either. I just felt that was a little.
You just went from the end of the show.
Yeah, I was like, that was jarring.
I'm talking. What I'm talking about is these people were a little too trusting for a town that is being torn apart by psychopaths. You know what I mean? Like at the time of Becca doing that, nobody was arrested. Nothing had happened yet. Everything was still open. And for as far as the people in town, they were supposed to think that, hey, this person is the person that killed who was her best friend. So now Lori's not locking her door. Everybody just, she just walks in and all's forgiven. And that's good. I'm glad that all's forgiven. But I think they were both at their wits' end. I don't think either one of them could handle not having the other one in their lives because everybody's gone from their lives at that point. So they just kind of had to surrender. So I don't know. How did you guys feel about the end? Did any of that kind of spark in your brains?
I know, Brandon, you said you're not a huge fan of it. Actually, I enjoyed the end. I also liked that the show ended with her going back up in the attic.
Well, no, I didn't say I didn't like the ending.
Gotcha. I just thought you said you didn't stick the landing for you.
Well, just in the regards of like, it just felt like subverting expectations to subvert expectations, like continual, like this is what's happening, but not really. This is what's happening, but not really. This is what's happening, but not really. Like that kind of stuff. That to me wasn't like I guess.
I don't know. For me, I guess like again, it kind of goes back to like I didn't even really care at the end of the show, like who done it part of it. Like it was more just about like her.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying earlier too. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, I stopped you.
No, you're good.
No, I as far as the ending though, yes, I liked that her and Lori resolve their relationship. They're like a ride or die, thick and thin type relationship the entire time, and she even says as much at one point, like you're pushing people away, and Mare's like, what about you? And she's like, I won't let you, or something like that. Like they have a very strong bond throughout, and it's until Mare's responsible is not the right word, but Mare ends up putting her family in jail, or her entire family. That's the breaking point for their relationship. But I didn't see it as basically what Al's saying as far as them mending things out of necessity. I just felt like they just both, I like that they didn't have words between each other in that moment, that they just embraced and kind of.
Yeah, it was cool that she like just kind of like collapsed into her. Like it wasn't. Yeah. It was more powerful that way. Well, they weren't just like, come here, you
old no gooder. I mean, I'm glad they made up. I'm glad that she went up to the attic. I'm glad that she was seeing a psychologist or psychiatrist, whichever one. I mean, I don't know. I think that the ending had a nice little, it buttoned everything up nicely, but I do think a lot of it was just a little too convenient for me personally. And that's ultimately throughout the show that if I had been watching this episodically just on my own accord, I do believe I would have tuned out, because I'm like, okay. Like it's kind of like the old school Batman show where he just happened to have the right thing in his bat, like his belt, like he just had everything he needed in there. And that's kind of how this storytelling felt to me. Just everything was just so convenient.
You know why he had it?
Because he's Batman.
Because he's Batman.
He's Batman. But no,
I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong to have that critique as far as the convenience, because I think there is a lot of that. But again, I just go back to, I just love the characters, mainly Mare and some of the closer characters to her. Like, I just felt like all that stuff. I feel like it was the story itself, or at least the parts that I latched onto, were those things, and the murder mystery stuff was all second.
I agree. Yeah.
At least as far as what I enjoyed about the show, and in the end, that'll be the thing that makes the show, as far as a grading, it elevates it to, this was really good because of the characters, mainly Mare. But but yeah, and that scene, man, I didn't think they were going to show that scene as far as her finding the son, but just the way they ended up portraying that, kind of not like they did it tastefully, but just the urgency and the emotion that she kind of puts out in that moment.
He's ripping through that house, man.
Yeah. Well, her son was mentally ill, Al.
So. He's on drugs too. I mean, so.
Right, but he had an actual mental
illness. I'm saying it just amplified his already special circumstances. So, but he was a jerk. I mean, there's just no way. I mean, like, and then the deal where the girlfriend, the baby mama, said he hated you and stuff like that. I don't know. I had no respect for that character whatsoever. I don't respect anybody that can't get their life together to take care of their kids. I just don't. I've had people like that in my family, and I just have no respect for them. I feel for them. I feel sorry for them, but I have no respect for them if they've been given every opportunity in the world to do so, and they just don't take advantage of it. And that monkey on your back is real. I'm not saying if you're out there and you have an issue with that kind of stuff, I really do want you to get better. But I just seen it too many times. So people in my family, drug addicts, had kids and abandoned their kids, left them in an apartment at the age of 2 with a dog to take care of them while they went out and got their fix. So I have no respect for that kind of stuff. So maybe I project that. Like I said, I get angry over these kind of things. Like I don't know. That scene in particular really got me like kind of mad, like where she was like projecting onto Mare. But Mare was no Girl Scout herself. She was very dry. And I will say this about Mare. She did not let nothing stand in the way of her job. The only thing she did that was wrong really was plant the drugs in that girl's car. You know. Beep. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is, but I think that's
she's tunnel vision.
I guess it's a good character beat for her because she wants that kid. Like she wants that kid to be safe. She doesn't see that kid being safe with her, and because of the legal system, the rights go to the mom. So
that was one of the things that I can't remember. One of you guys just made me think about it. I wanted to see her feel the consequences more of being in the house when Zabel was shot.
Yeah.
Like they got the guy, but she wasn't supposed to be there. And
I like Zabel's mom and her reaction.
Agreed. I agree.
I thought that was well played. Still think the Zabel and her dating thing was really strange. I felt like that was a way for them to be pulled together a little closer. And even when he kissed her and says, how do you know what I want or whatever, that was a little, I don't know. It just felt out of place for me. It wasn't like, she's so much older.
I agree.
Or whatever.
I got that feeling too. And at that moment,
but I also don't think it was meant. I think that it was kind of, I mean, they even draw attention to it in terms of her feeling like, I'm old, you're young kind of thing. Like, I think it was even like supposed to be a little like, I don't know if what the word is. I have trouble with those sometimes.
Word not speak no good.
You know what I mean?
It's all jumbled up in my mouth, and I don't talk no good.
Yep. Anyway, I think it was supposed to be kind of a weird dynamic, like awkward, like thought, like even the characters, her Mare specifically, she was like, little off put by it. The thought of it, so to speak.
If Ryan, if that's
forbidden fruit,
if that's not a clip that goes on social media, I don't know what is.
When I look down at my phone, I'm writing down timestamps.
Yeah, you got 121 for your little clippy beepy. Yeah. So I don't know. Let's talk about overall. You know, would you see? I guess since this is a show, ultimately, would you suggest this show to others? Would you skip it? Would you watch it again? What would you do, Ryan?
It's not something I'd rewatch, but it's a great show. I would definitely recommend it to people to check it out.
I really hope they don't try to make a second season, because I don't see how that would work. So
yeah, I doubt they will. But I would also recommend people check out Broadchurch if you have seen the show and you liked it.
Cool. All right, Brandon, what would you do?
Yeah,
what would you do? You've been suggesting this for a few weeks now, so
yeah. Well, I mean, that's because I was actively watching it.
Yeah,
like
well, that's what I'm saying. We know that you would suggest it. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I would say definitely check it out. And again, it's not something that I would rewatch either, but I did enjoy the weekly experience of watching it. It's debatable how that holds up on a binge. Don't use Al as the best reference because it's hard. He's a hard nut to crack when it comes to content that people like. So, but yeah,
he's an alien.
I think.
I mean, look at his skin.
Yeah, right.
He's looking better now, but earlier,
neon. I feel like this show is very accessible for most people. I've already suggested that my mom watch it. This is what I call a yellow tape show. And my mom loves yellow tape shows. She and my grandmother watch this kind of stuff all the time. This really felt like one of those episodic cop shows that I'm really not into. But I'm not going to say I'm upset I watched it. I didn't think it was bad. It was good to see Kate Winslet. It was good to see Guy Pearce. And I always like Jean Smart. So, and the few, like every time she pops up out of nowhere, I like her.
I'd love to see her, like Kate Winslet, in another like role that is demanding like this from her.
Okay.
She's a good actress. You should see Revolutionary Road. You should watch that.
Yeah. I should.
I would say that if this show also made me like I watched 3 episodes and then I had to turn it off. It was late at night, but I had to turn it off because I was like, I gotta watch something happy, for crying out loud. I'm about to go to bed because I just knew like I was gonna be like, and I text you guys something to that extent, and Brandon was like, it's right up your alley, man. Like we're talking about. So I do like the dour melancholy shows and movies mostly. But this just felt extremely melancholy, to where it was kind of bumming me out to a certain degree. And I think that had to do with the fact that there were kids murdered and things like that. I will say the one thing that made me nervous the most was that they were going to let that little Ryan kid die. I didn't think he really drowned in the bathtub, but I would say that most people should watch this show. I think that most people will like it. But if you do tend to like more quirky, campy type stuff, I would say go check out Twin Peaks. I would say everybody should check out Twin Peaks either way. But
well,
Twin
if you've
Peaks
made
is
it this
definitely not
far,
for everyone.
Recommendations don't really matter. So we just spoiled the entire show for you.
Yeah. But I'm saying, so I would say if you did like this, go over and watch Twin Peaks, because I'm fairly certain. I'm not saying they aped it or anything. I'm fairly certain these folks were somewhat inspired by Twin Peaks. Again, I'm not saying they ripped them off. I'm just saying that show has inspired quite a few people. Yeah. All right, folks. Anything else to add? Anything else, Brandon? Speak now.
I got nothing.
Oh my gosh. First time for everything. Let's get out of here quick. Ryan, you want to tell everybody where they can find us again?
Yeah, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube, notification bell so you stay up to date on all our videos we put out. And we're on Instagram at CiNEMACHiNE and just launched our Patreon. That's patreon.com/CiNEMACHiNEPod. And we appreciate any support.
Yes. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Let us know what you thought of Mare of Easttown. Let us know some shows or some movies that are in the same vein so that we might be able to watch them and that others that are in the comment section might be able to watch as well. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you all on the next CiNEMACHiNE.